Let's review enthalpy. For processes that occur at constant pressure, the change in enthalpy delta H equals the heat transferred Q. Delta H is positive for endothermic processes and negative for exothermic processes. The change in enthalpy for a reaction depends on the substances in the reaction and their states of matter. An enthalpy of formation, delta HF, is the enthalpy change associated with the formation of a substance. These are also called heats of formation, and they have the unit kilojoules per mole typically, or the equivalent, joules per mole, something like that. If we say standard something, it means, for one thing, that the temperature is 25 degrees Celsius. Also, we write the something with a not symbol as a superscript. It looks like a 0, and it's written as a superscript. We're introducing this now. There are going to be several quantities that we use this standard designation with, and that we'll have to write with a not symbol. But for now, we're going to talk about the standard enthalpy of formation. At the top of the screen, the enthalpy of formation is delta HF. So now, in the middle of the screen, the standard enthalpy of formation is written delta HF not. This indicates that we're at 25 degrees Celsius. The standard enthalpy of formation for the most stable form of an element is 0. This is a very important point. You must know this. In other words, the delta HF naught for O2 gas or solid aluminum or solid sulfur is 0. And this is because to form an element in its most stable form, we don't need to put any energy in or out. That's why delta HF naught for the most stable form of an element is 0. If you have an element that's not its most stable form, for example, ozone is an elemental form of oxygen, but it's not its most stable form at 25 degrees, or, more importantly, any compound, the delta HF naught is not 0. Now, if it's not 0, how do we find it? We look them up, dude. And we'll need that later on. One more time. The standard enthalpy of formation is 0 for the most stable form of any element. It's not 0 in particular for chemical compounds.